Annette, can you tell me a little bit about Rachel's Law?
Well, I founded Rachel's Law in May 2012 because what I found was when I was looking for somewhere for Rachel to live, Rachel being disabled and in a wheelchair, I found that there was virtually no affordable accommodation for Rachel to be able to rent. I spent, well, it was actually almost 4 years altogether trying to find Rachel somewhere to live, and it got to the stage where I thought, well, I'm just going to have to sell my own house and buy her a flat because I couldn't find anything. But even when I was looking at buying a flat, I still couldn't find something that was easy to be able to be adapted for a wheelchair user. And the more I looked at it and the more I explored children of Rachel's age, I found that most of the children, once they'd finished education, were going back home because there was no alternative for them, and they would stay there until their parents or carers were too old to look after them, and then they'd have lost all those skills that they had worked so hard for through education. And education has that whole, you can do it, you can do it, you can achieve, you can do this, but once you've come out of the education system, there is nothing really available to them. And social services have the same kind of problem in the sense of there is so little accommodation for people with disabilities that it's almost, and this sounds awful, it's almost somebody has to die for somebody else to be able to move into a flat. So that's how it started. And even though Rachel is now living away from home and she's doing brilliantly, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of young adults with disabilities who would love to have that chance and generally don't get it.
And in Harlow alone, are there a lot of similar Rachels?
There are quite a few. I couldn't tell you how many, but there are quite a few.
So now that Rachel's in accommodation, living independently,
well, she's independent with some level of support. She will always need some level of support. But having moved out there, what's happening is she's learning those skills that other young people learn when they leave home, things like finance and budgeting and going to get your own shopping and doing all those things. So that's all really, really important part of learning to be more and more independent. She's doing incredibly well and growing in confidence.
So all done and dusted with Rachel, but why do you continue to campaign?
Because I really, really believe that it's unjust for people with disabilities not to be able to have the same equality as everybody else. And I think it's very important to say they're not looking to be over and above, they're looking to be equal. They deserve that. And there's been enough talk in different laws in the past where they should have that equality. In this day and age, in the 21st century, equality should matter, and I'm passionate about that. I hate that kind of injustice, and I absolutely hate seeing these young people who have got great skills and can really be absorbed into the community and be part of the community, just being left with nothing. I really, really don't like that.
Around the town, what help have you got?
Where?
And people like Robert Halfon, has Robert helped?
Robert Halfon has been fantastic. He's been really, really supportive of Rachel. Met her, I think, firstly when she was about 14. I think he found her quite inspirational in the sense that she had a vision. She knew what she wanted out of life. She wanted to work and she wanted to live as independently as possible. And he has, well, Rachel's 21 now, and for 6 years he's always been very, very proactive in trying to help Rachel get what it is that she needs.
Has this come at a cost to you personally?
Oh, huge cost, yes, massive, massive cost. Firstly, for a lot of people in my position, you get tired. It's relentless. If you're looking after somebody with a disability, it's relentless. And you get very little, if any, help. In fact, I didn't have any help, but some people get a little help, but not a great deal of help. And you get tired. And so you end up just trying to cope, and so you haven't got that ability to keep fighting and keep fighting and keep fighting. So I'm tired. I'm worn out by it now. And as well, when children turn 20, if you get children's tax credits, you lose that, and that means that you're still trying to work, you're still doing the care, but you're not able to pay your mortgage. So I've had to downsize as well. But at the end of the day, I've got somewhere to live, and Rachel has somewhere to live, so it all worked out well.
Well, very much you're saying, you know, someone like Rachel, where did she go to school?
Well, Rachel went to mainstream school here in Harlow. She
Right.
went to Hare Street till she was
Okay.
11, and then she went to a special needs school in Stevenage
Okay.
for must have been 6 years.
So it's all, what you're saying is all about, developing your potential, realising your potential. You go to Hare Street, go to the school in Stevenage.
She then went on to college in Coventry.
Right.
Did marvellous there. It was a fantastic college in Coventry, and that is one of the big things. So, for example, one of my big things is if I went for a job in Manchester, and Rachel went for a job in Manchester, and we both got that job, Rachel wouldn't be able to take it because she wouldn't be able to live in Manchester until she'd been able to find somewhere to live, and that can take years because it's such a complicated procedure. I mean, it's all in the petition, everything about what's involved.
So are you saying that she's effectively being discriminated against?
Definitely, definitely. All people with disabilities are discriminated against if they can't have affordable accommodation that they can rent.
Speaking to one MP is great, but that MP then needs to go on to the next level and speak about it in Parliament.
Yes.
How are you going to try and get that done?
Well, in order for that to happen, and Robert Halfon, who's our local MP, is happy to take it to Parliament, and in fact he's already raised it once as an early motion in Parliament, we need 100,000 signatures on the petition for it to be able to be taken to Parliament, to be debated in Parliament, because I'm looking for a change in the law so that there is affordable accommodation that's proportionate to the amount of people with disabilities in this country. I've got nearly 3,000 signatures so far, but that still leaves me 97,000. So please, please, please sign this petition. Look at it. Don't sign it if you don't agree with it, but if you agree with it, please sign the petition. It's www.rachelslaw.co.uk.